All right, let's dive right in. Today, we're talking about one of folklore's most truly bone-chilling figures, Koshchei the Deathless. But here's the thing, this isn't just some simple monster story. No, this is a deep dive into the very idea of stagnation and what it actually means to be alive.
Just let that image sink in for a second. A skeleton dipped in wax. Wow. That one line just nails his entire essence, doesn't it? He isn't really alive. He's preserved, brittle, a totally hollow imitation of life. And right there, that's our first big clue. He's stagnation made flesh, or, well, bone.
And that brings us to his real title, the one that gets right to the heart of it all, the Sovereign of Stagnation. You see, his immortality, it's not a gift, it's a violation. He literally stopped the natural cycle of life and death in its tracks. He's basically a bug in the code of the world, a glitch in the whole system.
So, how in the world do you become a glitch in reality? And, maybe more importantly, what is the real price you pay for that kind of unnatural power? Well, let's get into it.
Yeah, this so-called immortality is no prize, it's a full-blown curse. The guy is a walking paradox, trapped in what the stories call a state of conscious torment. I mean, can you imagine that? You're aware, you exist, but you can't truly live? He didn't conquer death? No way. He became its prisoner.
But here's the thing about glitches. The system always tries to correct them. And in this story, that correction comes from a collision of three epic forces. You've got Koshchei, our sovereign of stagnation. Then you have the hero, Ivan Setovich, who's basically the manager of harmony. And finally, the enigmatic Baba Yaga, the guardian of the threshold between life and death itself. Okay, so let's really dig into the nature of Koshchei's crime here, because this wasn't just some flashy magic trick. Oh no, this was a flat-out rebellion against the fundamental laws of the earth. At the very core of his crime is something called the refusal of the dead. Think of it like this. In Slavic tradition, life is basically a loan from Mother Earth or Mat Zemlya, and like any loan, it has to be paid back. Koshchei, he just decided not to pay. By ripping out his own death, he defaulted on the most sacred contract in existence. He wasn't living his life, he stole it. And this is where we see the awful bargain he made. Sure, he got immense magical power and he could persist through time, but what did he give up? Everything that makes life worth living. His emotional resonance, his capacity for any real empathy, gone. He became this sterile taker, an empty vessel that had to essentially vampire the vitality out of others just to feel a flicker of anything.
So, you commit the ultimate transgression against nature. What happens next? You get paranoid. Unbelievably paranoid. And for Koshchei, that paranoia takes physical form. It becomes this labyrinth of fear, this ridiculously intricate security system designed to protect his stolen soul.
Let's just try to unravel this Russian doll of pure paranoia. First, you have to find the mythical island of Buyan. There, under a green oak, you'll find an iron chest buried. You open that and a hare bolts out. If you can catch the hare, inside is a duck that tries to fly away. Catch the duck, and inside that is an egg. And at the very heart of it all is a single, fragile needle. That's where he hit his death. This isn't a fortress. It's the creation of a desperate, hoarding mind.
And isn't that the biggest irony of all? For all his power, Koshchei has reduced his entire existence to a tiny, fragile, breakable needle. His so-called labyrinth isn't a fortress, it's an architecture of vulnerability. It's the desperate act of an extreme narcissist who is, deep down, absolutely terrified of the world.
And, you know, the details change depending on where the story is told. Maybe his soul is lost in the vastness of an ocean, or maybe it's literally poisoning the roots of the world oak. But the core theme is always the same. It's always a perversion of life's most powerful symbols. The egg, right? The universal emblem of fertility and creation. In his hands, it's twisted into a prison for a stagnant, selfish soul.
But for all of its insane complexity, Koshchei's plan had one massive, fatal flaw. A tactical error born directly from his own self-imposed isolation.
And this is where the difference between the villain and the hero becomes crystal clear. Koshchei looks at nature and just sees a resource to be controlled, dominated. Its creatures are just unwitting tools, jailers for his soul. He is totally deaf to the language of the forest. The hero, on the other hand, understands that true strength lies in connection and mercy. He forges alliances with the natural world. He doesn't try to command it.
And it's these alliances that make the impossible possible. By earning the trust and honor of the wolf, the crow, and the fish, the hero shows us that real security doesn't come from an iron chest. It comes from being a part of the intricate, interconnected web of life.
And so that brings us to the final act. But this isn't just about the defeat of a villain. It's about the healing of a wounded world. This is the story of the mercy of an end. I mean, just imagine it. The moment that needle snaps, 1,000+ years of stolen time come crashing down all at once. The massive debt he refused to pay for so long is finally collected with interest.
And that's why his end is called a mercy. His destruction is a release from that conscious torment he put himself in for centuries. He was never truly alive in any way that mattered, so his end isn't a tragedy. It's simply the natural order being restored.
So, what is the ultimate lesson of Kolshe the Deathless? It's a timeless warning, really. When preserving yourself at all costs becomes your only goal, you're not actually saving yourself. You're just committing a form of slow-motion suicide.
And so the myth leaves us with a choice. Are we going to be the skeleton in the golden cage, safe, sure, but trapped by fear in a kingdom of total loneliness and stagnation? Or are we going to find true strength by accepting our place within the beautiful, messy, temporary cycle of life and death?
The story of Kolshe leaves us with that one profound, lingering question, doesn't it? Is a life without end truly a life at all? Something to think about. Thanks for joining me.